What's going on, TheCoreofU family? It's your boy Kenneth Page.
And Bianca Page, his good, better half. No, equal parts.
Another TheCoreofU Friday conversation. We hope that you're doing good. We hope that everything is going well in your life. You're getting ready to enjoy this beautiful weekend. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, right? It's a month, a mental health awareness month. The topic that we want to get into today, and you can always follow us at TheCoreofU's Community of Restoration and Enlightenment on Facebook, on Instagram. Follow our YouTube channel. We also have a website, TheCoreofU, CORE of you. But in light of Mental Health Awareness Month, and I've heard so many conversations about it, and I'm still learning a lot. Still learning, just checking into it and seeing that there are so many people that deal with mental health and go through depression and all, types of things that people go through. And so I'm reminding you always to make sure you check on the people that you feel are the strongest, because they may really need your help or may need somebody to check on. People that is always checking and doing for others. Let's make sure we check on them too. But in light of that conversation today, Wifey was talking today, and she was going through something. Well, we were going through, but it was hitting her really hard. And she said something today that kind of sparked the conversation. When you feel alone, what do you do when you feel alone in a room full of people? And it really hit me when she said it. I was like, I'm like, wait, can you say that again? What do you do when you feel alone in a room full of people? And man, I had to think about it for a little while, and I can go back in some things in my life. But Wifey, expound on what you were talking about.
Well, I think that when you're in the midst, especially of a personal storm, that's when you really have to, instead of isolating, force yourself to draw nigh or draw near to your support system so that you don't go deeper into that hole. And it's easy, especially on the heels of us having a year plus time of knowing how to self-soothe and be alone with your family, and now things are opening up and you have to try to reverse
now you gotta
everything we had to learn to survive. And for some people it might be easy, but as a coping mechanism, I notice that a lot of people withdraw, like when you're going through. So let me speak personally. I know that during those stressful periods, or during the periods where I'm working on something, well, first it is good to kind of like go within, right? But like you don't want to stay there,
right? So
it's like you do need to do some self-reflection to try to assess, like, what am I feeling, what is going on, how am I dealing with this, what is making me feel this way. But then if you realize, if you're self-aware enough to know, like, I am constantly in this state of darkness, so to speak, where I'm not really able to pull out, but you have all these people that say they love you, that you can call on, and you can't think to ask anyone for their advice or ask anyone for help, you can go deeper into a point where you can't be reached and where it's hard to come back for yourself. And so, does it feel like you can't share your accomplishments with other people? Does it feel like when you have a down day, you can't call on others? Do things feel out of control? Like, these are signs that, are you possibly that person I'm talking to that's feeling alone despite having people that love you? And that's really what the conversation here was focused on, to push us to, one, don't pull back when really what you need is to lean into people who love you and want to love on you. Because sometimes it can be it can be scary to be vulnerable.
Yeah, we kind of get, I think, in those moments sometimes when you go through, you kind of sometimes get, I don't know, sort of a selfish attitude that I'm the only one that's experiencing this.
Yes.
Or maybe that, and no one else is, they don't know how I feel. And listen, I went through a major, tragic loss in my life with losing my parents all at the same time. And I have a younger brother and sister. So we all experienced the same loss because it was just as much their mom and dad as it is mine, right? But all of us dealt with it differently. And so I'm sure at times, if we could all be sitting right there together and feeling something differently. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by when you're in a room full of people, but you still feel alone. And that's a scary feeling. That's a vulnerable feeling, and it's a feeling that if you're not careful, it really will take you down a rabbit hole of darkness, and you might get into some unhealthy habits and start to pick up some addictions or whatever. You know what I mean? If you're not careful and if you don't hold on. Wifey said something one time when she was speaking about, when it's the most difficult in your life, you should lean into God, and because we are spiritual people and we believe in the power and the words of prayer and spirituality and affirmation, that was one of the things that helped keep me from going to that dark place. Was I really leaned into God. And what better to lean into God than my supporting cast that was around me, and there was a lot of people that helped me to get through that time so that I didn't go to the darkness or the dark side or get depressed. And I had days where I was sad and I cried, and you should give that to yourself. You owe that to yourself. I always say, when you go through something and you go through sadness like that, you owe it to yourself. Don't allow anybody to tell you how to grieve. You need to be able to cry if you need to. Men, it's okay to cry. I know sometimes we say toughen up, be a big boy. It's okay to cry. It's all right to do that and to feel that, because that's a relief valve for your soul. And so you're not overwhelmed with stress, and it's like a pipe. You don't bust, right? So you need to make sure you have some forms. And if you need, sometimes it needs to be more than one. Ways to really have an outlet that's healthy, though. You want to have healthy outlets. We sometimes pick up outlets, but they are not healthy.
And what I would say is two things that I picked up on that I want to share with the community. I'm in the legal profession, and we were focused on wellness in the law for the first week of May. And one of the things we discussed was the feeling of burnout. So when you go past stress into burnout is where it feels like you have more on your plate than you have hours to address. You have a feeling of loss of control of your day, your journey, your time, and also just a feeling of like joylessness. And the interesting thing is, they did a poll, and at any given time there were people who said I'm feeling that way chronically, people that say I'm swinging between that, and then other people that said no, I feel like I'm handling my stress good. And I can say throughout the past 6 months I've been in each of those buckets, but as of late I was more in the 1/3 of feeling like I was going into burnout past stress. And one of the things that helped was knowing other people felt that way. So when you feel alone, you can start to feel like it's something wrong with me. Why am I feeling this way? But to know, like, wait, this is a thing. Other people feel this way. So that's it. Number one, knowing that people can empathize with you, relate. Number two, it was empowering to have language to kind of give teeth to what I had been feeling.
To articulate, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I like that.
then tips to come out of it, which were just little things that you could do to get in front of that. And so I guess what I'm saying is, had I not took a moment in that moment for personal development, I would have missed out on that blessing, which was like a source of redemption, had I not been just present enough. The other thing is, how many of us are taught to cope with mental health or mental things the way that we do physical ailments? So I was listening to a TED talk, and the man said, if you hurt your leg or break your leg, nobody's gonna tell you go run it off. Just go walk it off. It'll be okay. But if you have like a moment where you're not feeling well emotionally or mentally, where do we get this concept of, oh, just sleep it off, just pull yourself together, you'll be okay? We were laughing. Tell me about the meme you saw about the big girl underwear.
Oh yeah. Somebody posted a meme that said, "Forgive me if I'm showing my butt. I've had to pull up my big girl panties so many times the elastic is worn out."
So sometimes you get to that point where you're like, wait a minute, I need to acknowledge that I'm just having a moment, and really be and let the people who love you know, and maybe they'll help you get through it. And if you're the one on the other end that's the listening ear, listen with your heart, and not to try to always compare, fix it, or judge. Sometimes you need to just listen.
Yeah. And
you can ask permission to enter that space. Do you want some advice on this, or you just want an ear? We really have to. That's what we deal with in coaching when it comes to active listening. And if you don't feel like you have anyone in your space, like for instance, me and 22 other amazing women just authored an anthology called Phenomenal Women. And what's beautiful about it is that something in that book you can relate to everything. If you've had a challenge to overcome, or somebody in your life and it's giving you tools to say, like, this is not a period, but like you say, it's a comma, and I can get past this.
No doubt.
You gotta, sometimes I'll just Google and or YouTube search something touched on what I'm feeling, just to get past the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, I think it's all powerful. I mean, we are not, psychologists. We do life coaching. We use spiritual techniques. We use techniques, and we've been taught techniques, and we went to classes and studied and done that, and we use some of our own experience of the things. But if you need professional help, you need to seek it. You need to go out and really talk to someone. Make sure that if you are feeling alone in a room full of people, know that you do have people that love you and they care for you. And if you feel like you don't, then you should try to reach out professionally and get somebody that can help you, walk you through it, take you through it. Because no one should have to face the trials and tribulations of life alone. No one wants to have that feeling. You don't want to have that in your life. For me, I lean heavily on my spirituality. I lean heavily on the connection that my mother and father and my grandmother and my aunts and uncles and all of my cousins, all my family, the things that they put in me when I was younger, I really, really rely on that a lot. And I use it a whole lot, right? And I'm sure a lot of you I'm sure a lot of you do the same. You may pray, you may meditate, you may call a friend, you may call your mom, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle, brother, sister, somebody. Make sure you reach out to somebody that can help you and walk you through, because nobody wants to feel alone.
You know what? As a matter of fact, in the good times, you should already have your list. You know how they have that ICE list, that in case of emergency list?
That's a word.
Well, in case of emergency, emotional emergency,
right,
mental emergency, you should have that short list of who are my go-tos.
You are, and a lot of us, I think subconsciously we do, but you might want to do it consciously. Maybe write it down, maybe think of it. If I'm in something emotionally and it's got me, and I'm thinking deep or dark or bad thoughts, or I'm just not feeling good, who can I trust to call that's going to help walk me through it, or point me in the right direction? Whatever we need to do, right? You need to have somebody or a group of somebodies in your life that's able to do that for you.
And let me tell you what I recently did, because this is how your mind can play tricks on you. I was really overwhelmed by, just the ongoing health issues of some people I love. And in that moment, I couldn't get to hubby. My mom wasn't picking up. Like, I think I went through my first 5 on my in case of emotional list. Sis was busy with work. Unc was tied up. And when I got to the end of that, the Spirit just brought my good friend Sherry to my mind. Like, she's one of my day ones. And I called her and I said, "You got a minute?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "Can you just pray for me, because I can't get a connection right now."
Wow.
And she said, she went to ask, she said, "You know what? I'm going to just go into prayer." And she did. And out of the blue, even before that, she sent me this bracelet that says "Enjoy the Journey." This not only serves as a reminder to enjoy the journey, but like, you're not alone.
Yeah.
There's always somebody you could call. So be open to spirit, because you may also you may have to go deep into your wonderful circle, but to get a breakthrough, you may be calling somebody you least expect, just to get that connection, to pull you back, to let you know you are not alone.
So that's it. That's our Friday conversation for today. What do you do if you happen to feel alone in a room full of people? I mean, man, I believe, I'm sure we've all been there at some point in time in life. Man, God forbid you may be feeling that right now. Please reach out, talk to somebody.
You can even do a prayer request with us on TheCoreofU.com.
Yeah, we
you
do
want to
prayer
set
requests.
up
Absolutely.
exploratory coaching session. Like, just know you don't have to navigate these waters, especially as we have to deal with opening back up after being in survival mode for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as always, we leave you and hope that you have peace in your heart, peace in your home. We hope that you are not feeling alone because somebody is around. And if nothing else, we hope that these words today can give you some encouragement to reach out, to look up, to feel good. Because sometimes all we really need to do is lift our head, and somebody's right there to help pull you up. But if your head is held down all day long, you'll never see. So sometimes all you really need to do is just look up. Somebody will be there. God will send somebody there. They might already be there.
Spirit to show you and reveal. Who can I call? Who can I lean on?
They may already be there and you just don't recognize them. So we holler at y'all. Have a awesome weekend. We, as always, we hope your heart is filled with peace. We hope your home is filled with peace. And we hope that everything that you touch prospers. Peace.